All right, the U.S. Department of State has no higher priority than the safety and security of Americans. As we continue to assess and address the needs of U.S. citizens during this important time, I want to reiterate a few important instructions for everyone watching at home and around the world. We urge all American travelers to sign up for the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, known as STEP, to receive the latest updates from the State Department. We also urge U.S. citizens to regularly monitor the Department's website at travel.state.gov to receive the latest updates and to find emergency contact information. Americans overseas in need of assistance should contact their nearest U.S. embassy or consulate or call, if you're overseas, +1 202 501 4444. That is +1 202 501 4444. Another important update, the State Department has added a crisis intake form, which can be found by clicking the banner on the top of travel.state.gov, which, once again, the magic of technology, there it is. The new aspect is that red banner at the top. Click on Israel and Iran departure info for U.S. citizens and follow the instructions for more information. U.S. citizens in Israel and the West Bank who would like to receive information on departure assistance should fill out the form that this website will take you to. This crisis intake form will also allow U.S. citizens in Iran to register their information. We do not anticipate offering direct U.S. government-assisted departure from Iran. Americans seeking departure should take advantage of existing means to leave. The Department of State has provided information and support to over 25,000 people seeking guidance regarding the situation in Israel, the West Bank, and Iran. And on Iran, I want to reiterate the statement from President Trump delivered by my colleague Caroline yesterday. Quote, "Based on the fact that there is a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place in the near future, I will make my decision of whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks."
On the 25,000 that you said the State Department has provided information to, is that U.S. citizens who are seeking information on leaving Israel, the West Bank, and Iran?
It's information in general. So it would be a combination, I'm sure, but it's a general information, conditions, perhaps departures as well, but general information.
Okay, and do you have any numbers on the number of U.S. citizens that are seeking information on departing Israel or Iran?
Those are not numbers that I will share at this time. Just as a reminder as well, while today is a bit different than the feeling of Tuesday, we are still in a dynamic where there are still hostilities, where there are still people in bunkers, where there is still a danger. Clearly, we've heard the statement from President Trump about his posture at this point. So we're still going to be careful for national security reasons, obviously, when it comes to what we can answer. So that's a number that I won't be able to give you today.
Okay.
All right. All right. And we will not, we'll do one more, but then we will continue on here. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Just on Ambassador Huckabee's tweet, he said that the U.S. is working to get military, commercial, charter flights, and cruise ships for evacuation. Have any of those organized by the State Department evacuated American citizens yet? And if not, when is that expected?
Again, I won't give details from this podium, but we know that at each embassy they are posting actions that they're taking. We know that the Israeli embassy is doing that, so you could go to either travel.state.gov and get to the Israeli embassy, or go there directly, and you will see their statements, and I would urge you to do that directly when it comes to what the Israeli embassy is doing and what they've accomplished. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis chartered flights, apparently, for Americans in Israel seeking to leave and successfully got, I believe it's 1,500 out. I was wondering if those charter flights were coordinated with the State Department in any way, or was this done on some tangent?
Well, I think that there's, and we know that there, of course, are some independent efforts to get American citizens out of those areas, and when we suggest that people take advantage of existing means, We would include, of course, the nature of other opportunities to leave, independent efforts, independent groups managing those dynamics. As far as the DeSantis effort, I would suggest you call the state of Florida, call his office, and I'm sure that they'll get you more information. All right, Nadia.
Thank you, Tammy. Since the president said there is substantial opportunity for negotiation and has given it 2 weeks, why not send in a U.S. representative to join the Europeans with the Iranians in Geneva today? And second, Mr. Grossi is worried that if Bushahar reacts...
Let me answer your first one first, if I may, and then we'll follow up with your second. First of all, Geneva is a discussion involving the Europeans. Of course, we're working on many different fronts and have from the beginning here in leading the nature of finding a solution to this problem. And we certainly continue to. The president's made it very clear, as he has, again, not just about this issue, but every other war and conflict that he's trying to stop. And also with his statement that he would allow to make a decision within the 2 weeks because of the potential. So those efforts continue on. How we're pursuing those efforts are up to the president, and he's making those decisions and anticipates that it might be worth waiting those 2 weeks. But other than, I can't characterize the why or the how. But I think it's important. One thing I think of the many that Americans have learned about President Trump is to believe what he says, to know that he'll deliver, and to not second guess the nature of the choices he's making.
Great. And second, Mr. Grossi is worried about reaction coming from Bushahar if it was attacked. So are you worried that as a result of these attacks on any of the reactors that actually we might have a nuclear radiation?
Well, certainly. I'm not going to speculate on the impact of the nature of what is transpiring in any country in this regard. I know that Israel has issued statements afterwards in dealing with any concerns regarding the actions that they're taking, and I would refer you to the Israeli government in that regard. But I'm not going to speculate on a hypothetical dynamic at this point. All right, yes?
With regard to the talks taking place today, well, concluded today in Geneva, does the Trump administration believe that they were productive in paving the way for diplomacy?
Well, I don't want to characterize what the Secretary of State may think of what has happened. I know that the government as a whole, that we're hopeful for every new opportunity, every new effort to have this come to a conclusion that is diplomatic. That is something clearly we've seen in the president's posture. So while I won't be able to characterize it about what their opinions are at this point, I think at some point we may find that out. But I do know that we do hope that every effort is successful.
Two more quick questions. Is the Secretary planning to get on the phone with any of those foreign counterparts that were in the meeting later today?
Well, I know that, of course, he's headed to The Hague next week. And so I know conversations, no doubt, will happen there about a whole number of issues.
I'd like to go back to Iran just for two questions.
Of course.
One, just for clarification, have any Americans been killed or injured in Iranian strikes so far?
You know, I don't think so. Is that, do we have numbers, or is that something that we've been able to? Let's take that back and see where things stand at this point. I do know that the reports that I've seen are that there have been no American injuries or injuries of staff at embassies and consulates. But let's take that back. And again, I would caution, obviously, this is a shocking continuation of a war that affects many countries, and we'll get back to you with the latest that we have.
I suppose the flip side, thank you, we would appreciate an update. The flip
Of course.
side would be if
and again, just a reminder for people watching, when we say we're going to take it back, it means we get the answer and get it directly to the reporter and then have it, and obviously in this case, as a fluid situation, we'll continue to watch it.
Thank you. And insofar as you're looking into it, if there are American citizens in Iran, which we haven't gotten an estimate of how many Americans might be in Iran,
Sure.
If there are injuries or deaths there, we would also be interested.
Well, yes, again, the messaging is for also Americans who are in Iran, and again, urging them to go to travel.state.gov, and we're certainly aware of them. Our task force is working on all of this for every American who is in that region. which provides a different dynamic for some, whether it is, of course, Israel, Iraq or Iran, et cetera. Wherever they may be in the Middle East, we're there for them.
Thank you. The other question is on diplomacy. So we understand the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is in some sort of contact with the Iranians. How would you encourage us to think about that contact? Is that a prelude to negotiations? What's the nature of that of his engagement with the Iranians?
Well, I wouldn't characterize it at all, except there are things that we know, which is that there had been negotiations, that we had gotten Iran to the table. We'd been having those conversations, led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. And we know that the president, from his statement, which is, I think, worth noting again, because it's very specific in its nature, and also, I must say, when I saw it, very Trump-like in his statement, as a man who is serious about everything he addresses, but in this particular kind of way, when it's existential, life and death, that he genuinely, it's not posturing. He wants to have it be solved diplomatically. He knows it can be. He knows, based on what he's accomplished already in the past, and the nature of human beings, which in business you learn a lot about as well, but certainly in his governmental experience and as a leader. Again, he said, directly from the president, quote, based on the fact that there is a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
On that front, do you have an understanding of why there's now a 2-week window for diplomacy? Because at the same time, the White House said yesterday they understand it might be a couple of weeks before the Iranians achieve a nuclear weapon.
No, but he has his reasons, and he's the one who knows, and that is the specificity of his statement. And I'll leave it at that. All right.